Rico Dottle is the team's best player, without a doubt. The run game is the offense's best weapon, without a doubt. What is the game plan going into Atlanta? I believe you're at Atlanta, right? I believe so. This is the first game that Bryce has played since the Cardinals game where it's in a dome. And this is if we remember correctly, the last time that Bryce Young was in the dome in Atlanta, he had a 5-touchdown game. Breakout game of his career, to be completely honest with you. But what's the game plan for this Atlanta Falcons game, if I might ask? I think for me, it's very clear. Get Bryce Young going. You have to. I don't think this team isn't going to win a Super Bowl. I think the entire world would be shocked if this team even made past the first round in the playoffs. This roster isn't that great for a deep playoff run. I think the coaches know that, the fans know that, the organization knows that. So what is this team really trying to do? Being 5-5 going into week 11. What is this team's objective? What's the goal? What are we trying to figure out at this point in the season? They realize what their identity is, and that is being able to run the ball at a high level. But it seems like that's the only thing that they got going for them. Defense is playing great. The run defense has been 10 times better than it was last year. I feel like the pass defense could be a little bit better, but hey, can't be perfect in all aspects of the game. But so many questions on the offensive side of the ball. Whether it's the O-line, whether it's the quarterback, whether it's the receivers, whether it's the play calling. So many questions. And I think that's what they need to be focused on. You want to go win the game, then go right ahead and just run Rico Dottle to the ground. Go ahead and give him 25, 30 carries. And you can win the game. You can be 6-5 going into San Francisco on a Monday night. That can be your goal. But if what Dave Canales said is true, then they need to find their explosive pass game this weekend. They have to. Because I don't know. This is my thing too with Bryce Young, who I still believe in, but I 100% agree that he needs to play better. But it's so hard for a young player to play up to his potential when the limited opportunities are exactly what they are. Limited. I've said this many, many times. Bryce Young is going to turn the ball over. He's going to throw interceptions. He's going to fumble the ball. He's going to make mistakes. But if your coach takes the ball out of your hands because you make those mistakes, how the hell are you getting better? How are you getting better? Realistically, how are you getting better? There was a point in time where Josh Allen was turnover prone. There was once upon a time where a lot of these Hall of Fame quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers wasn't as turnover prone as Josh Allen, but when you're that young, especially as a quarterback, I mean, he's only in his third year. Realistically, in his second, because he got benched the beginning of it. I don't even know if he played. He hasn't played 3 full seasons, obviously, but he's probably just played 2 full seasons. He's probably right at that mark. 10 games this year. He played 2 and then he got benched last year. And then he came back and played the back half of the season. So yeah, he's played probably about 2 full seasons at this point. Still extremely young. Still gonna make mistakes. But I feel like this notion that Dave doesn't trust him, or Dave doesn't want him, or Dave doesn't believe in him is ridiculous. Dave knew what he was getting into when he sat down in David Tepper's office and he said, hey, This team is tough. This roster is pretty shot. The quarterback is undersized. Do you think you can change the organization? Do you think you can change this team? Don't know what Dave said. But he took the damn job. So, I mean, he had to have said, yeah, I believe in the kid. I seen what the kid put on tape. I believe in him. I seen what he's done in Alabama. I can work with him. So now, Bryce Young is one of the worst throwing quarterbacks in the NFL. But the back half of last season, he was one of the best. Something don't make sense, damn it. Something don't. And I don't know what the disconnect is. I'm not in practice. I'm not in the film room. I'm not in the private meetings. I don't know where the disconnect is. But this week is the most important game for the Carolina Panthers. Why? Because this will determine how the rest of the season goes. It will. I'm not saying Bryce has to come out and throw for 300 plus yards. I'm not saying he has to have another 5 touchdown game. But at least be respectable in the passing game. And I think this is more about Dave than it is about Bryce. Because Bryce, like, regardless if you want to agree or not, Bryce is a representation of his coach, of his head coach. Understand that. There is no Patrick Mahomes without Andy Reid. You know, there isn't a single quarterback in this league that's been successful that would say, hey, it doesn't matter what coach you give me. I just go out and be me. It just doesn't matter. You take Andy Reid away from Patrick Mahomes, how successful is Pat going to be? You take Josh Allen's coach away, how successful? You take Lamar Jackson's coach. I don't want to throw Joe Burrow in there, but you take Matthew Stafford's coach away, and we saw what Matthew Stafford was in Detroit, and all of a sudden Matthew Stafford wins a ring his first year with Sean McVay. The coach dictates way more than the player will ever, especially at the quarterback position. Does Bryce need to play better? Absolutely. But does Dave need to call a better game for his quarterback? 100%. And for God's sake, make plays for your quarterback. Receivers, running back. Rico's been doing it, but you got to make plays for your young quarterback. Give him the confidence. I'm expecting this is going to be an exciting game. Because I don't know what to expect, especially on the road. I don't know what I generally don't know what to expect. The Atlanta defense is not no slouch. Their offense is a little suspect. Michael Penix is a little suspect. But if Michael Penix gets his confidence going, Michael Penix he can have one of those days. So you don't know what game. I don't know what game to look at. I don't know what's gonna happen. Because at the same time, on one hand, the Atlanta Falcons are 3-6. But on the other hand, the Carolina Panthers can get blown out or beat by anybody. It doesn't matter if they blew Atlanta out 30-0. It doesn't matter. Atlanta is about to come in with fire in their eyes. And this game is going to tell us everything we need to know. Do I think they need to move on from Bryce Young after this season? No matter what happens, I do not think that they need to move on from Bryce Young after this season. I think you continue to build. And if Bryce Young isn't the answer in a couple of years, you have, I'm pretty sure at that particular time, Tedero or McMillan is a star receiver. Don't know what Leggett is at that point. Don't know what Coker is. But they got to get better. I would assume Jimmy Horn has to get better. Or if you want to trade for somebody, so the offense is going to be built. And Bryce Young is going to have multiple chances. Bryce Young isn't the answer. He isn't the answer. But to move on from him when your team, especially your offense, isn't necessarily built around a quarterback, This offense, I don't care what anybody says, this offense is not built around a quarterback at all. It's just not. It's built around the run game, but it's not built around Bryce Young. That's what they're trying to do right now. They're still trying to figure that out. And they have failed. Not miserably, because Tet has been a success. But Leggett, bad. Coker still have to figure out what he is after injury. Jimmy Horn need to see more reps. Hunter Renfrow, I don't even know where he went. They still got a lot of things they need to figure out. And before they just cut ties with Bryce Young, at least build around the kid. At least build around the kid. Build something. And then we can have a serious conversation. Bryce, I mean, this is year 6, kid, and you're still not producing. You gotta have the discussion. Because I don't see, unless I'm blind or unless I'm just living under a rock, I don't see a quarterback coming into Carolina and just completely changing. Not with the weapons that they have right now. I don't care if they have the first pick or the last pick. I don't see a quarterback in this draft that's going to come in and just change the team. I just don't. A lot at stake for the Carolina Panthers this Sunday. What team are we going to see? What Bryce Young are we going to see? What Dave Canales are we going to see? That is the thing now. What Dave Canales are we going to see? Is he going to be predictable and call predictable plays? Or is he going to completely push the ball? Is he going to allow Bryce to be Bryce? Is he going to allow them to play free? Because that is going to be the key to how they win. Defense too, obviously, but defense has actually been playing great. So you can't really say much about the defense. At least not this year.